Long ago, in the heart of the great Ashanti kingdom, there was a prosperous village called Nsumia. It was a land of brave warriors, skilled traders, and hardworking farmers. But at the edge of the village lay something feared by all, the Black River. The elders warned, "Take nothing from Black River, for its gold belongs to the spirits." The villagers heeded this warning, passing the legend down through generations. But as in all stories, there is always one who does not listen. In Nsumia lived a man named Kofi, the wealthiest merchant in the land. He had fine silk robes, the largest house, and more cattle than anyone else. Yet, he was never satisfied. He wanted more gold, more land, more power. One evening, a wandering hunter returned to the village with a strange tale. "I saw something by the Black River, a golden chest, half buried in the riverbank." The villagers gasped in fear. "The spirit's treasure," an elder whispered. But Kofi only laughed. "Foolish talk. If there is treasure, it belongs to the one brave enough to claim it." That night, as the moon bathed the land in silver light, Kofi set off toward Black River. The river was eerily still, its black waters reflecting the moon like polished stone. The air was thick, heavy, as if it carried unseen eyes. Yet there it was, the golden chest, half buried in the wet sand. Kofi's heart pounded with excitement. He rushed forward, his hands trembling as he pried the chest open. Inside, gold coins gleamed, brighter than the stars themselves. His breath caught in his throat. "With this, I shall be the richest man in all of Ashanti," he whispered, greed filling his heart. He gathered the coins into his sack, but as he turned to leave, the river trembled beneath his feet. The water darkened. A chill crept up his spine. Then, from the depths of the river, a voice rumbled, deep, ancient, and angry. "Mortal, you have taken what is not yours. The curse is upon you." The river roared, and a gust of wind howled through the trees. Kofi stumbled back, clutching his sack, his heart racing. He did not wait to hear more. He ran faster than he had ever run before, back to his village, back to his wealth, back to his doom. The next morning, Kofi walked through the village, his sack of gold clinking at his side. He bought the finest silks, the fattest goats, and even took 3 new wives. He laughed at the foolish villagers who whispered behind his back. But then, strange things began to happen. His cattle grew sick, their eyes dull and lifeless. His crops withered overnight, turning black as ash. His wives whispered of strange sights in the night, his shadow moving on its own, creeping along the walls like a living thing. Kofi tried to ignore it. "Bad luck," he muttered. "Nothing more." But the villagers saw his once rich brown skin turn pale, his hair gray overnight. His once proud shoulders slumped, and his sharp eyes became haunted, as if seeing things no man should see. Then one night, the great storm arose. The winds howled, the trees bent as if bowing to something unseen. And from the river came a voice that made the ground tremble. "Return what you have stolen, or be lost forever." Terrified, Kofi ran to the shrine of the village seer, the wise old woman Nne. "Wise one," he cried. "Help me. I took gold from the Black River, and now my life is cursed." The old woman sighed, her wrinkled face filled with knowing. "Ah, greedy one. Did you not listen to the warnings? The river spirits do not forget. She threw cowrie shells upon the ground and studied them, her eyes narrowing. "The only way to break the curse," she said, "is to return every coin before the next full moon. And you must do so." She paused, looking deep into his eyes. Without looking back, Kofi swallowed hard. "I will do it. I will return everything." That night, as the moon hung low in the sky, Kofi made his way back to Black River. The water shimmered, glowing an eerie blue. The spirits were waiting. His hands shook as he dropped the first coin into the river. It vanished into the depths without a sound. Then another. Then another. One by one, he returned the stolen gold. With each coin, the air grew heavier, pressing against his chest. He could feel eyes watching. Then, just as he dropped the last coin, he heard it, his mother's voice. "Kofi, my son, help me." His breath caught. His mother had died years ago. How could she be here? "Mother," he whispered. The urge to turn around was unbearable. His mother's voice grew desperate, pleading. "Kofi, why won't you look at me? My son, help me." Tears burned his eyes. His muscles tensed. He had to look. But then, Nana's words rang in his mind. "Do not look back." With all his strength, Kofi clenched his fists and ran. As soon as his feet touched dry land, the river let out a mighty roar. A splash echoed through the night, louder than any sound he had ever heard. Then, a silence. When Kofi opened his eyes, the Black River was still once more. The whispers were gone. The curse had lifted. But Kofi was never the same again. He gave away all his wealth, lived humbly, and never spoke of that night. And from that day forward, no one in Nsumia dared take from the Black River again. For some say, on quiet nights, if you listen closely, you can still hear the spirits whispering beneath the water. Please subscribe to our channel and stay up to date with part 2 of this story.